Hey guys, John V from PhoneArena here. You're watching our video comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Alpha and the Galaxy S5. So we all know that the S5 continues to be Samsung's flagship smartphone, but the Alpha just recently launched with AT&T, and it's without question the best design phone from Samsung we've seen ever. It's stunning, compact, it has a really subtle premium element that we like about it, and in terms of performance, it kind of rivals the S5, so we're going to pit these two devices and see exactly how they compare. Well, there's no denying the obvious here. The Galaxy Alpha has the superior design. It's an evolutionary one, which still embodies many of the same design principles of the Galaxy series, but it has a very premium element to its construction thanks to its metal trim bezel. And it's also thinner, lighter, more compact, so it's easily held in the hand. But we can't forget that the Galaxy S5 has a water-resistant construction. What's most notably different about them are their displays. We just prefer the Galaxy S5's 5.1-inch 1080p Super AMOLED panel over the smaller 4.7-inch 720p Super AMOLED display of the Alpha. That's because the Alpha relies on a pentile matrix arrangement, so when we look at it very closely, it's not as sharp compared to the S5, though it does offer better and more accurate color reproduction. The experience here are pretty much identical to one another, with the exception that the Galaxy S5 has a couple more features with the experience, and that the Alpha, being the newer device, gets treated to a newer build of TouchWiz, and you can see that in some of the widgets around the home screen, but for the most part, they're pretty much the same. You have multi-window support, so you're going to have an enhanced multitasking experience. You're going to have all the various air view gestures where you can hover your finger over certain elements and get a preview. You have all of Samsung's core services like S Voice and S Health. But the Galaxy S5, being the flagship, has a couple more. For example, you have additional air gestures where you can wave our hand over the display to scroll on the web page or even through the gallery. And it even has a smart remote app which turns it into universal remote. So we're checking out the AT&T versions of the Galaxy S5 and the Alpha. They're powered by the same quad-core 2.5 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor, coupled with 2 GB of RAM, and the performance are pretty much identical with the two. Very fast and really great for gaming, and in some benchmark tests, one phone does better than the other, but for the most part, they're identical. You have double the memory in the Alpha over the S5. It has actually 32 GB of internal storage versus 16 GB in the S5. But the S5 benefits with a micro SD card slot, which isn't something you're going to get with the Alpha. They're both fantastic for multimedia consumption, and they support a wide array of video codecs out of the box. And naturally, they play them smoothly, but the larger and high resolution display of the Galaxy S5 makes it more ideal. And when it comes to the audio, the Galaxy S5 speaker just seems more robust and deeper in tone, whereas the Alpha speaker is still pretty powerful, but has somewhat of a strained tone at the loudest setting. If you absolutely love taking photos and videos, you'll appreciate what they have to offer in terms of shooting modes and manual controls. There are a ton of stuff you could select from, but the cameras here are different. The Galaxy Alpha has a 12 megapixel autofocus camera, while the Samsung Galaxy S5 has a slightly larger 16 megapixel one. On the surface, it's really tough to distinguish which one has the superior camera just because they take some really sharp looking outdoor shots, but at the end of the day, we prefer the quality of the Galaxy S5 because we do notice that it does capture more detail than the Alpha, and at the same time, it offers better results under lower lighting conditions. When it comes to their 1080p video recording quality, we honestly like the two. It's really tough to distinguish which one we like more than the other. There's a lot of likable qualities. You have very smooth recordings, quick focus, good exposure, so there's a lot to like, and they also benefit from 4K video recording. Unfortunately, they're not strong performers when it comes to phone calls, so there's not one that we greatly favor over the other. With the S5, the earpiece produces some muffled tones, while the Alpha just produces robotic voices on both ends of the line. Interestingly enough, it's actually the Alpha that has the superior battery life between the two, and that's despite having the smaller capacity 1860 mAh battery, while the Galaxy S5 has a beefier 2800 mAh one. Now, our battery benchmark test, the S5 achieves a rating of 7 hours 38 minutes, which is pretty excellent for any smartphone nowadays. But the Alpha edges it out just a little bit at 7 hours and 50 minutes. The biggest thing that catches off guard is the pricing for the Samsung Galaxy Alpha. Like we said, it's a stunning phone. It kind of performs similar to the S5, but it's priced identical to the S5 through AT&T. So that means $200 with a 2-year contract for you. Now, seeing that the Galaxy S5 has a larger, more high-resolution display, on top of that, all the other features that come with it, like a micro SD card slot, you have an IR blaster, and also has a water-resistant construction, kind of makes more sense to go with the S5. That's unless you just prefer the size and solid premium quality with the Alpha. So if you guys want to learn more about either smartphone, you could check out our website, PhoneArena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.